Good morning and welcome today. This morning we're going to talk about motion. And I want you to remember one thing when you leave here today, and that is motion is the lotion. Remember that. We're going to use specific examples today of the neck and the low back, and we're going to talk about how motion is related to aging process, how motion might be related to a childhood trauma or a sports trauma or perhaps a motor vehicle accident that you were in. But it's all about how it affects the body, your physiology. And the thing I want to share with you today is I want you to think about being in a dark cave where they have stalactites and it's dripping down, and you have one drop of water that adheres to the end of that stalactite, and then that freezes. And then the next bit of water drops down and adheres to that end, and that freezes. That's how our body repairs injury. And it's called calcification. And as we age, we relate to it because it's called degenerative arthritis. But how does that relate to function and motion and other traumas like childhood trauma or sports trauma or a car accident, for that example? Well, think about that stalactite again. And think about if the body was injured, if muscle was torn, if tendon was torn, if ligament was torn, the body wants to repair that, right? And so the way the body repairs it, it brings calcium to that area. Well, if that injury happens to be in or near a joint, that calcification then starts to migrate into that joint. And as it does, it decreases the function and therefore the motion of the joint. Well, how do we repair that? How does chiropractic repair that? What is. So whatever kind of calcification there is today, that's there. But how do we abate that? And how do we move beyond that? How do we repair that? How do we move and to minimize that dysfunction? Well, here's the answer. Motion is the lotion. So you go to the chiropractor, and the chiropractor will take these joints in your neck or in your low back or in your shoulder, wherever these joints are calcified. And the chiropractor will give those joints motion again. Sometimes the motion is minimal, sometimes it's more dramatic. That's where you hear that classic pop that everybody talks about. But motion is the lotion. Remember that, and I'll say it again and again and again. The chiropractor will then give you some exercises to do at home so that whatever the chiropractor does for you in the office, you'll be able to translate to a home exercise program. Motion is the lotion. Remember that. So what happens here? In aging, this calcification passively migrates into the joints. And over time, usually in the 5th to 6th decades, that calcification will then decrease the space between the joints and eventually move to fuse the joints. Your chiropractor will take those joints and try to open those surfaces, or at least what we call gap those surfaces, and then give them mobility. You'll then go home and do the same thing. Not as dramatically, of course, but you'll try to keep these joints open. And over time, that's what we'll accomplish. If you've had an injury, such as a childhood injury where you fell on your head or you fell on your butt, same thing may happen. Passively over years, even though you didn't appreciate it when you were a child, or a sports injury when you were a teenager, that calcification will then occur until finally one day you'll notice stiffness, you'll notice loss of range of motion, and finally the thing that brings most people to me, you'll notice pain. The answer will give those joints their motion back as the joints become more mobile. As the surfaces spread apart, they'll lubricate, and as they lubricate, they'll move better, pain will go away, and you'll be a happier person. Motion is the lotion. Remember that. Take that away today. and have a good day, and go out, exercise, and move. Thank you.